Hello and welcome to the Knitting Hobbit Podcast. My name is Rut. I'm a knitter based in the Netherlands, and this is my little space where I share everything about knitting and yarn and other fiber related things. I don't know what we're on. Is it episode 8 or 9, I believe? Since the Stephen West MKAL started, both my Instagram account and my YouTube have grown so much. So I wanted to thank everyone. If you're a new watcher or if you're a returning one, I just wanted to thank you for all the love and support and all the loving comments. I really enjoy reading them. So thank you, and don't stop leaving comments. Today I wanted to share my progress on the Shawlography. I'm well into the next clue. I haven't finished it yet because there's a lot of knitting in this one, but I am on the last section, so I might finish it tomorrow. We'll see. I'll definitely have it finished before the next clue comes out. Then I have some progress on my Cosy kofte from Skeendeer, and I have a tiny, I didn't buy much, but I have a little bit of a yarn haul from the Breidagen past weekend in Zwolle. So yeah, let's dive right into it. Today I am wearing my burrow cardigan. It's a pattern by Fable Knitwear, and I'll get up a bit so you can see it. It is a very plain and simple cardigan. It was really nice to knit. I knit this in Labien Amy merino singles held together with their mohair. It's in the sienna colorway from the Grocery Girls, and I love it a lot. I do have to say that the neckline was really wide. It was like sitting over here on my shoulders, so it kept falling off. So what I did is I crocheted on the seam between the stockinette and the ribbing. I crocheted on that so that I didn't have any stretch at all, and it kind of pulled it together. And that does help a lot. I'm also planning to do it on the outside because as you can see, that now kind of wants to flare out a bit. So I was thinking if I also do it on the very outside, that might pull that in as well, and then it will be a perfect fit. But I did really have to make that adjustment because before it just wasn't that comfortable to wear because you keep pulling it back onto your shoulders. But otherwise it's a really nice cardigan. Because I had held the merino singles together with the mohair, it's quite light but still very warm. And yeah, I just think it fits really nice. Like, the sleeves have plenty of space, but they're not huge. And the mohair does give it a nice little bit of a shine to it in the sunlight. So yeah, that is that. Now let's dive right into the Shawlography MKAL because I am really excited about this. If you want to avoid spoilers, then this is just not the podcast for you, I'm afraid. I will see if I can put in a timestamp in the description down below so you can skip over it. So, spoiler warning. Here it is. This is where I'm at with this MKAL shawl. As you can see, it's getting to a really good size. So it's really exciting. Like, now it's proper taking the shape of a shawl. But then he throws in some short rows, and I have no clue where it's going to go after this because I have a lot more short rows to do on this side. And then as well, I still have to get started on the other side for the short rows. So we'll see where the next clue goes, because this is really getting interesting now. I shared with you last week that I did the small loops and that I kind of only thought about it later, that I might have wanted to put in a lifeline or something because small loops might not work. We might have had to do something with them. But it was alright, because this is what it looks like now. So you still have that effect of the loops. So it's not like you're completely missing a section. It's just not quite as exaggerated as the intended design. It's a bit more subtle and small, and I'm really happy with the decision. And I think if you just hold it up like this, it's just looking so cool. I'm just looking at my screen right now and it's so cool. I'm really, really loving this shawl. So in case you haven't watched last week, I'll talk through everything. I am knitting it in Mominoki yarn, except for one. So this is my yarn, I think that's B. No, that's A. And then the charcoal one is my B color. And then I have a baby pink. And then that's that one again. And then I had a beige, but I found the beige quite boring. So then I looked through my stash and I found this. And this is a really light yarn that has a couple speckles, and it does have the charcoal and a bit of the same color as this, speckled throughout. So I, in later sections, after section 2, I swapped out the beige for that speckle yarn, so I still had that really light color, but it was a bit more interesting than just beige. Then I have a really pretty dark purple, and then it's back to the other colors. And then this is my section 3. So here I use the speckles for the first time in the middle row of the V's. And as you can see, it's really subtle speckle. You can see it in some bits, but it's not like too busy. So it goes really well with all the solids in this shawl. And then I did the small loops. And then there was this section. I forgot what he called this section. Then there is the welts. I really enjoy doing the welts. A while back I started on a penguono, is that how you say it? Which I frogged, and that one has welts as well, and I really enjoyed doing it. And I think the effect it makes is a lot of fun, and especially with these small welts, it was really interesting to make these, because on a penguono it's just like a large welt, like 3 large welts in a row. But yeah, this was really fun to knit and really interesting. And then with the triangles after that, I really enjoyed it. I have this super high contrast in the triangles, because I have seen some pictures online of people that have a bit less of a contrast. And I definitely prefer it this way. I think it looks super cool. And then the bubbles, and then the short rows that I've just started on. So that is every section that I've done so far. I also want to say that I really enjoy how the triangles move into the loops, and then the loops move into this section, and then this section moves like almost seamlessly, because the lines are the same, into the welts, and then the welts move into the triangles. And then that was just so much fun for me. That was very pleasing to knit. And it was also easy to make sure that you still had enough stitches, because your stitch count stays the same throughout some of those sections. My phone had decided to stop recording, but what I was saying is that your stitch count, it's really easy to know that your stitch count is still correct, because it moves so seamlessly. Sorry, talking is getting hard. Because it moves so seamlessly into each other. So that's really nice, so you don't have to keep counting to see if you're still on track. You can just see, because when your stitches don't add up, something's going wrong. So yeah, now on the short rows, and I really enjoy the look this is giving. Also, when this blocks out, I think it will stretch out a bit, and you can see even more of that texture and those colors. So yeah, I'm just really excited, especially with these short rows. Like, where is the shawl gonna go? What shape is it gonna take? Is it just to increase the wingspan, or is it gonna go somewhere completely different? We don't know. But I'm really excited to find out with the next clue. But first, I have to get this one done. But that will be pretty soon. Oh, and by the way, this was the beige that I swapped out. So it does have a bit of a pinky, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird beige, grey beige, kind of, I don't know. But I found that a bit boring, so I swapped that out. And then my next whip, after I finished my clue from last week, I did a lot of knitting on the Cosy kofte. And I have a really good start now with the color work chart that's at the top of the cardigan. I have to watch out because I don't have needle stoppers on this at the moment. But as you can see, so I think last week I was just below here, and quite soon after I recorded the podcast I started on the color work charts. And now I am up here, and this is where the big Selby roses are gonna be. So it's really a lot of fun to knit. It's really exciting. I really enjoy working on the color work. And it is quite heavy, but it will be such a nice warm cardigan to wear all winter. And I'm really excited for this. I am taking a bit of a break on this because I first want to finish my Shawlography clue, and then I want to knit a quick hat from one of my purchases from last weekend, which I'll share in a bit. But maybe after the hat, that will probably be done soon, because I have this whole week off here in the Netherlands for schools. It's the fall holiday, so now that I work in education again, I have fall holiday too, which has been a while. So it's weird to have these extra weeks off every once in a while. But that means a lot of knitting time and a lot of time to go to the barn, to the horses. So I'm not complaining at all. So once the hat is finished, I just want, after Chalography, I just want something small and brainless and simple. So after that, I will get back to this, but I want a bit of a break from big and more complicated projects. I have still not, by the way, so at some point you have to put in sticks for the underarm. It's basically like your arm seam, and I am still not at that point. So this is going to be a really nice long cardigan. I think I have a couple more rows to do, not that many, but a couple more. And this is, you can't even see, can you? I don't know. This is the length where it's at right now. So it's really nice and long, and it will be really nice and warm. I'm knitting this, if you haven't watched any of my previous episodes, I'm knitting this in Drops Charisma. This is the color Anthracite, and the other one is light pearl grey, because I didn't want a stark white. So I went for a really light grey to make it just a bit softer. And I am really enjoying how it's knitting up. I really love knitting color work. And this one has larger repeats because it's the big Selby roses, but the other charts are all smaller, so they're really easy to remember. And yeah, you can knit them up pretty easily, so that's a lot of fun. So those are my only two current whips. Then I have, as you can see, not that much, but I have a bit of acquisitions from the Breidagen. And I'll start with the most exciting one, because this bag is from Draadkracht. And Draadkracht had a stand where you could dye your own yarn. And it is something that I've always wanted to do. But I just didn't want to get all the supplies for it and have such a big investment in something that I might only do once. So I was really excited, and I went there with my mom, and immediately told her, like, I have to do that. I really have to do that. So what they do is they first give you a mini and you got to pick your own colors. So I said I like pinks and purples and blues. And then they give you a brush and you can just get painting. And it was a lot of fun to do. So this is the mini that I made. Really bright and colorful and fun. And I love this one so much that I thought, okay, my big one has got to be the same or similar to this, because I really loved how these colors were going together and it was so bright and so much fun. So yeah, and then they had a ton of different bases that you could pick from. And I saw this one that was wool but with little viscose, what do you say, like tweedy bits in different colors. And I loved it, so that's the one I picked. And this is how the big one turned out. Isn't that so cool? And if you look really closely, you can see the multicolor, like tweedy bits. Because the dye didn't very much like catch on those, so they kept their color, and I really love the effect. So I immediately thought I just wanted to do one, because it is a bit pricey and I didn't want to spend too much money at the Breidagen, because for the horses I bought a saddle this month, and if you're into horses, you know saddles are a bit expensive. So I didn't want to spend too much. So I said I want to do this, but I'll just do one and I'll just figure out what I'm going to do with it. And this is not a sock yarn, so I can't just knit socks of this. And I wanted to do something a bit more special. So as soon as I got home, I had a bit of a brainstorming session with myself and my knitting books. There's some more over there. And what I found out to do was knit a dotted race, and I will stripe it with this, I think. I might swap it out for a different color, because now that I'm seeing them together, I'm not actually that big of a fan. But I do also have a really soft pink in my stash. I think I will wait, I'm gonna grab it. Okay, we're back. I'm gonna stripe it with this really soft pink, and then with the bright pinks and purples and blues. I think this is gonna look really cool. So I was just thinking, like, every time you have to do one of those like yarn over rounds, I will just swap the color, so it will get like quite big stripes. And I think I will just keep going until I run out of yarn. But they're both fingering weight, and I have 2 of these. How much is on this? Oh yeah, this is 210 meters for 50 grams, so I have 100 grams, so that's over 400. And this one is 400 as well. So I think I can get a really nice dotted race out of that if I stripe them. And of course I also have the mini. Not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I might just keep this as a little keepsake. I don't know yet, but we'll see. But at least this is my plan for this yarn. Then the hat I was talking about earlier. So the other day I was having dinner at my brother's together with my like fake grandparents. They used to look after us when we were kids, and they just stuck around. And they were kind of hinting at me, like I knit the shawl I knit for her a couple episodes ago, and now they were hinting at me that he would like a hat that was just a simple hat with a folded brim, and it had to be like dark red. And they were like hinting this as me, like, oh, you know what would be nice? So I scoured the Breidagen for a pretty dark red, because I am not a big fan of reds, so a lot of them I don't find that pretty. But then I saw this lovely burgundy color at Hollands Creatief, and it's 100% fine Peruvian Highland wool. It's 100 grams and it has 200 meters on it. So it's a bit like I'd say an Aran weight, maybe a worsted weight, probably a worsted weight. Let's see where the color is. That's kind of it. And it does feel really soft, because I don't know how he is with scratchy wools, because I also found a really, really pretty yarn at the Cross and Wood stand. But I was just too scared that that one would be a bit too scratchy. And this one, it feels really, really soft and nice and lovely. So this is what I got. So I'm just gonna knit a plain, simple, easy hat with this. I'll look up a free pattern probably, so I have the stitch count. And yeah, just simple with a folded brim. That's it. Nothing too special. And it's gonna be like an Aran worsted weight, so it's gonna fly off the needles really quickly. And then the last thing that I bought, there's going to be a bit of plastic crinkling. I'll try to keep it still so it doesn't crinkle too much. But it's this kit that I got, and it's from Lindewool. And it's sock yarn with Rami. And this is a kit for these really pretty mitts, fingerless mitts. And I had some fingerless mitts, but they're made of a really, really itchy, to me, really itchy alpaca wool. And I'm just not good with that. And it was really annoying me a lot. So I needed some new fingerless mitts, because I prefer them much more over the full, like covering mitts. And then I saw this kit, and the grey with the yellow, it's just exactly my colors, as you can kind of see over here. So I saw this and I thought that was perfect, and I had a sample and I tried it on and it was all fine. So I got the kit. The pattern is there in Dutch, but it says that it's a free Ravelry pattern that is on Ravelry in English, so I might just follow that because I learned to knit in English. So like my knitting Dutch is a lot more rusty than my knitting English. So yeah, I'm really excited to get going on these as well. So that might be my small little project later on as well. So that is everything that I got. As I told you, it's just a small haul. I didn't want to buy too much. I almost bought a sweater quantity for something. But I held myself in and I didn't. So I'm quite proud of myself. I'm really happy with the things that I got, and they are all things that I'm really excited to work with and that I do have plans for. Like I didn't at first for this one, but this was just too good of an opportunity to pass on. So yeah, and the price wasn't bad either, because it was 25 euros and it included the mini and a large one, 100-gram one, and all the supplies and everything that you needed to do it. And they finished it off for you as well. So 25 euros for basically a sock set that you got the opportunity to dye yourself without having to pay for all the different things that you need separately. It's pretty good, I think. So that was a lot of fun. If you ever get the opportunity, by the way, to do that, I highly recommend it. It did take a while. I did have to wait for a while as well to like get my stuff. But it was a lot of fun once I did get it. And yeah, I recommend it. So yeah, that was everything. I think now with the West Knits MKAL going on, I will be doing this weekly. Because I'm just too excited about it to share and to talk about it. But I think that once the MKAL like comes down, I do it bi-weekly again. So I have a bit more to talk about. So yeah, that was everything. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Tell me what you're working on. I really enjoy reading what everyone is working on while they are watching my episodes. Oh, and the craziest thing, I was at the Breidagen and someone recognized me. So that was like, am I a YouTuber now moment? But yeah, that was a lot of fun, and she was really sweet, so that was really nice. So this is bye, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.